Hi Leo, welcome to your solar eclipse in Cancer special with me, Raphael Ray from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So, this is going to be relevant for me as well because, as many of you know by now, I am a Leo ascendant. I'm very proud of that fact. I'm really proud and I love being an Aquarius. I really do. And it's all of everything that who I am. But I love being a Leo ascendant because it gives me my big heart and I'm happy with that. So, enough about me. This is about you guys. I've got my trusty notes here and I would like to bless those and my cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, as I always say, I'm a baby astrologer. I have been reading tarot over half my life. I haven't been doing astrology anywhere near that long. These are like practice and they're also my unique take on things. Please do check out the key to the eclipse video that I will be putting up as well, because it will flesh some of the stuff that I can't explain in these videos out. It will give you some more understanding and some more background understanding. So, the solar eclipse, your ruling planet, your ruling luminary, should I say, in the sign of Cancer, happens in your 12th house. Let's face it, the 12th and the 8th are the ones that most people are like, ooh, because they, you know, Steve Judd always says, and I love him, I think he's brilliant, the planets impel, they don't compel. And my astrology teacher always says that the experience of the planetary aspects create, you know, a certain set of experiences around you, but they don't do anything to you specifically. It's your response to them, you know, that is a big part of it as well. So the 12th house is a difficult one. It's the house of the past, it's the house of the subconscious, it's actually the house of Pisces. And Pisces is about not having any boundaries, it's about being deeply connected to everything and everyone. It's about the netherworld, it's about the other world, it's about, you know, deeply psychic, deeply spiritual matters. It's about everything that's intangible, it's about the things that we can't touch, it's about the things that we can't necessarily see, but are there nonetheless. So yeah, and I've written here the 12th and the 8th are the houses that bring up the most shit. I mean, you know, let's be honest, they're the deep ones. I love the 8th though. I really do love the 8th house. I don't know why, but I do. Anyway, these are the houses that take us deeper into not just ourselves and our own furthest recesses, but they also take us into the depths of what it is to be human, and sometimes takes us into some pretty dark places and feelings and even experiences. And, you know, regardless of what you may have been taught or told, going through the stuff that is deep and going through the stuff that makes you uncomfortable is actually the best way to become enlightened. It's actually the best way to get the most out of your life. The lotus flower, look how beautiful it is. It's the sign of the crown chakra, the most powerful, spiritually aligned, spiritually connected chakra there is represented by the lotus. The 1,000-petaled lotus, I think its meaning is in Sanskrit. And the lotus can only bloom from really dirty, gnarly, shitty water. Like, the lotus blooms from the worst conditions and transmutes that into something that is so beautiful, that can just float on the surface like, you know, here I am, look at me, aren't I beautiful? And, you know, let's face it, all Leos have a little bit of that as well. You know, Leo, my fellow felines, do not be afraid, and the beauty of the powers of the empath is that you need to let in that emotion. If you ride the waves and currents of emotional energy and brave the terrain of your subconscious, you will find a strength and a power that is unmatched. You yourself will be unmatched, and you will discover a depth and a sense of yourself that you have never felt before. And therein lie the deepest message. The house of Pisces, the 12th house, is that of the subconscious, but it's also that of the boundaryless. and emotions are boundaryless. The 12th house for me is the house of the empath, you know, and to be an empathic, Leo's ruled, you know, you rule the heart, you rule the spine. The heart is about love, it's about peace, it's about acceptance, it's about emotion. It's about courage and bravery to do what needs to be done. The spine, you know, when you say to someone, get some backbone, you know, be brave, stand up straight, all of that stuff, that's Leo stuff. And, you know, if you can tap into this 12th house and really allow the emotions of everything that you feel, of everything that everybody else feels to go through you, to be the conduit for that, this eclipse will give you the chance to reset your emotions, to recalibrate how you feel, to recalibrate what you feel, about what, about who. You know, it's asking you to really dig deep into who you are, to look into your past and ask yourself, is there an emotional trauma there? Is there something that I'm holding on to in my subconscious? I read a book, or a series of books actually, and I love the author for the way that she described this. One of these characters is having a magical battle, and she gives herself over to the worst expressions, you know, to the worst expressions of who she is, in order to fight a battle to save her daughter and her, I think it's like her husband. And she, you know, she goes deep into herself and she pulls up, as she calls it, this dark spiky little ball, you know. And once she's had the battle, you know, she's unleashed everything she's got, and she does that in order to find the depths of her true power. And once she reaches that place and she wins the battle, she describes packing it all back into this dark spiky ball and pushing it back down to the bottom recesses of her subconscious and putting it back there. So, you know, all of those expressions of hate and the need for defense and anger and rage and, you know, the depths of passion and all of that, she puts back into that tight spiky little ball, and she puts it back at the bottom of her consciousness. Well, this is about your subconscious. And if you can find a way to tap into that and use it for some kind of defense, use it for some kind of transmutation, you know, you will find a power, and you will discover a power that makes you unmatched. And, you know, therein lie the ability, therein lie the message and the goal, right? To really connect with what is. Do you have an emotional trauma in your past that you're hanging on to, that is forcing you to subconsciously react and act in ways that actually you don't really want to? If you can get in touch with that dark spiky little ball and look at it for what it is and where it truly comes from and what's been fed into it, you can really start to change how you act on a fundamental level in the world, because you will be changing what you believe at a subconscious level. And if you can train the subconscious, what you can do with the conscious is nothing short of miraculous. Sorry, I went off on a really big, deep, dark tangent there, and you know what, and that's okay. I'm sick and tired of this fucking namby-pamby bullshit of, oh, we only I always call up love, peace, light and abundance when I do my readings, because that's what I want to give to people. Does that mean that that's all there is in the world? No, it isn't. That's not all of the human expression, unfortunately, which is why I try to bring that, which is why I try to give that. But there are darker aspects to the world. There are darker aspects to us as human beings. And if you can embrace all of it, you can transmute some of that darker stuff and use it for a power to do a force of good. In order to know who you are, you must know who and what you are not. This will be the challenge, walling your mind, your energy and your spirit off from others. Now please hear me when I say, because this is 12th house stuff for you, and the 12th house, like I said, it's, you know, the 12th house actually rules hospitals, it rules institutions, asylums, it rules all of those things, you know, places where people are held against their will, even prisons. This is, you know, and the solar eclipse is a time of big change. This isn't about scaring you, it's just saying, around the 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after, it's probably not a time for you to drink too much. It's definitely not a time for you to take hallucinogenics. It's definitely not time for you to experiment with your consciousness with chemical assistance. Meditate, use candle gazing, use Tai Chi, anything that you can connect with your own spiritual and psychic energy in a natural way will be very beneficial for you around this time. It's not a time to chemically enhance it, because you might get more than you bargained for, and you might go off into places that you're not ready to experience because it will be forced on you. Whereas if you can, like I said, do it through meditation, candle gazing, contemplation is a really awesome tool. You know, all of that stuff is great, but do it in a natural way. Alcohol, spirits especially, no. You know, drugs, definitely not. This is 12th house stuff. It's eclipse. You lose the light for a split second. Not the time for it. So like I said, this isn't about about scaring you, but this is going to work in a tandem energy. So in one respect, you're going to have to feel the emotion, you're going to have to go through it, you're going to have to feel what other people feel. This will see you really psychic. It will see you really really spiritually astute and sensitive. It will see you very psychically and emotionally sensitive. And that's a good thing. You can use that as a gift, because it might even, you know, through the 12th house, this is communication from the other world. You might discover some sort of mystery. You might discover some sort of new innate ability. And the beauty of that is, through this transit, you will have earned it. And therein lie one of the things that I have to tell you next. The messages that come through to you at this time, the mysteries that are divulged to you through your dreams, especially dreams, 12th house, you know, through all of the mystical and the magical, anything that comes to you through those means, whatever it is that you learn, it will be a secret of the universe. You do not share that with anyone. And the reason I say that, solar eclipse is an initiatory energy. 12th house, spirituality, psychism, mysticism, all of these things. To go through all of the mystery schools and traditions, you go through a process of initiation, initiatory energy. The things that you learn are told to no one unless that person has been unless that person has done the work. And therein lies the message that I have to give to you. Through going through this process energetically, emotionally, psychologically, you will be going through an initiation. So what is learned will have been earned. If you feel moved to share this with a specific person, great, do so, but do so from a place of deep intuition. Don't just go out and start sharing this big major secret that you learn through your dreams, through your practice, whatever, with everybody and anybody, because it's not for them. They haven't done the work to earn it. You have, by going through this process. Please remember to remain sober as possible and remain vigilant to keep your own barriers up. So like I said, this is gonna, because the 12th house is the house of dissolution, it dissolves things because it's ruled by Neptune. You know, Pisces, it doesn't have boundaries. So this is going to see you having to find a way to let all of the emotion in and process it, but also wall yourself off to anything or anybody that isn't at a vibrational match to you. And Leo, this will see you really digging deep into who you are, and it will see you really digging deep into your past. You can heal an emotional trauma from your past. You can heal emotional wounds from your past. It can see you really discovering what kind of an empath you are. It can see you discovering that you are an empath, that you do feel things from people. And then finally, the 12th house through the colouring of Cancer asks us to remember what it's like to feel a comfort and a security in the spiritual, to be comfortable with the supernatural and the mysterious, and it will see us seeking a part of ourselves that is both of those things. And I love that. I mean, it's, you know, they're my own notes. Look at me blowing my own trumpet. You know, it's about finding the spiritual and the mystical within yourself, and knowing that those things are there within you. It's about finding those things out in the world and embracing them, you know. and understanding that every single person that you meet is a picture of spiritual and mystical energy, of physical energy and emotional and psychological experience. We are all physical substance and internal experience. And every single person that you encounter will be route of all of those things as well. And it asks you to tap into this. Could be a really powerful transit for you guys, for us guys. And I certainly will be practicing a few things and making sure that, in fact, probably from tomorrow, I think I will be teetotal up until the eclipses are done. Not that I drink every day. Make myself sound like an alky. Yeah, so let's see what the message of the tarot has for you. The Strength card. Now, isn't that interesting? Because the Strength card rules the sign of Leo. And this to me says, especially with all of this stuff, because the boundaries between us and everything and everyone else might be blurred at this time, the Strength card comes forward to remind you, remember who you are. Whatever the external circumstances, whatever you feel, whatever you sense, whatever you dream, whatever you envision, remember who you are. Take pride in who you are. Take courage in who you are. Discover the strength of who you are. And that tight, spiky little ball, this is the time for you to look at it, to examine it. And this is the time for you to transmute the energy that is down there in your subconscious. And once you can do that, you'll feel a sense of liberation that not many people are going to feel for a very long time. Leo, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Have an amazing eclipse. Have an amazing month, and I will see you very soon for more videos. Take care.